Okay, so embarrassingly, it is only day one, and I wasn't expecting this video to go the way it's going already.
For the next 2 weeks, I'm tracking my macros to see if I'm actually eating to support the life I'm trying to live. And since you might want to know what my goals are macros wise, I'm aiming to hit at least 17 to 2,000 calories, 100 to 150 grams of carbs, 50 to 70 grams of fat at least. And I'm aiming for 100 grams of protein, which I really should be having at least 110 to like 150, but I find protein really hard. So if I'm still feeling a little tired in the day, I'm going to try increasing to 2,000 calories and see if that helps. And if I feel like I'm still not really recovering well from workout, I'll increase my protein to 120. I mean, 150, that just sounds impossible.
I thought this was mostly going to be a video of me explaining how I track macros to get a better idea of my diet and nutrition intake and how it can support my life. And already on day one, I'm not hitting the markers I thought I was, so I guess this video is shifting gears. I just finished prepping our dinner because I'm about to go to work, and I've already figured out that I'm not hitting enough calories and I'm not getting enough protein. So I'm just gonna quickly whip up a smoothie that'll bring my protein into just over 100 grams for the day, and my calories up to about at least 1,600, which honestly I thought I was getting a lot more calories than I am. But seeing this information put out already in the very first day that I'm doing this, it kind of explains why my recoveries haven't been as good and why my energy hasn't been as great after I work out. And to be honest, I was chalking those things up to postpartum. I'm a mom, I have a toddler, I'm working, like, I don't know, I just kind of chalked it up to my life, but turns out I actually am not supporting myself nutritionally as I thought I was. And if you can believe it, I used to eat even less calories. I used to skip breakfast and only eat two, like probably 500 or 600 calorie meals a day, and I would work out and I would just lose a ton of weight, and I never had to try that hard. But now I really can't be doing stuff like that. My body doesn't work that way anymore. And that's something I see for a lot of patients as well, that we need to start supporting our metabolism, supporting our energy stores so that we can work out appropriately and just do things properly. I can't get away with shortcuts and just severely under eating anymore. My body doesn't like that. Maybe that's something I'll touch on throughout this video as well, how as women in particular's body changes as we age, we can't just cut a bunch of calories and lose a bunch of weight. It doesn't really work like that anymore.
For day one, I had oatmeal with chia for breakfast, and it's just sweetened with fruit. For lunch, I had some leftover chickpea salad, which is just cilantro, tomato, cucumber, avocado. And for dinner, I had that kind of Greek bowl. So it was these chickpeas. I marinated them to taste like bacon. It's so good. I'll share that recipe soon. Lemon rice and a little side Greek salad with some tahini dressing on top.
So it's the end of day one, and I just finished my dinner. Sorry if you can hear a 2-year-old crying, he's being put to bed. I did definitely notice a difference with having that smoothie around, I think it was 1:30, 2 o'clock on a day that I worked out, and I noticed I wasn't getting enough protein for the day, so adding that in and getting that boost really made a difference. I didn't even have a second coffee today, but it is the end of the day, and that's bright. I've been working hard to reduce my alcohol intake. I'm only having alcohol socially. So I did make this fermented lemonade kind of. So it's just honey and lemons, but the peels I found out you could add to the liquid as well, and it would cause kind of like a fermentation process and make things bubbly. So let's see. It's a little carbonated, I guess. Ooh, that's really good. I'll definitely be making that again soon.
On day two, I took chia pudding for breakfast, and I also took leftovers I added some baked tofu because we were out of the chickpeas for lunch. By the way, if you want these actual recipes, I think every single one of them that I've talked about so far and likely will cover in this video is on my website, so I will link that below. And then for dinner, I had a Santa Fe salad with blackened chicken.
It's the end of day 2, and a really good learning point for me is that on days like yesterday where I didn't have any meat or animal protein, I really am not getting enough calories or protein intake, and so adding a smoothie with a protein powder seems like a really great solution, because days like today where my breakfast and lunch are both plant-based, but my dinner had animal meat in it, I'm hitting most of my markers, so I'm pretty happy with that. Today's totals, I'm not totally happy with my total calories. I came in at 1504, so less than I wanted. My protein was 110, pretty happy with that. My net carbs was 112. And my fat was 70 grams. Seeing my calories be so much lower than I thought they were and that I was kind of aiming to hit, I'm going to just monitor my energy and my recovery right now. I'm not running, I'm just walking in the morning, so I don't know, maybe it's enough. But if I get to next week and I'm still not feeling much of an energy boost from the changes I've already made, I'll go down the road of increasing my calories next week and experiment with that as well. All right, it's the end of day 3, and again, for breakfast I had oatmeal. And then this day was kind of unique because normally on Wednesdays it's my husband's day to make dinner. That's just because this actually might help some people. We work late 2 days a week. My husband starts later than I do, and so he kind of is at home by himself until he finishes really late, like at 8 p.m. So for that reason, he preps dinner on Wednesdays so that when my son and I get home at 6, we just eat dinner and get ready for bed. But on this particular day, we had a scheduled oil change for our car, and that window got used up. So instead he brought home a rotisserie chicken and one of those giant boxes of Caesar salad from Costco. So him and I actually shared some of that for lunch, and then I had it again for dinner with my son. So I did eat the exact same thing twice. And I knew for sure from doing that my calories would be low and my carb content would be low because there's no actual carb in that meal. So just at the end of the night, I did have 2 slices of high fiber toast and some peanut butter on that, and that really brought me up to, yay! For the first time, I actually got over 1,700 calories. My protein was 134, a whopping record. My carbs were at 134, which I'm really happy with, and my fat intake was at 84, which is fine. So yeah, overall, I'm really happy with day 3. And tomorrow I'll have a better day. I won't eat the same thing for lunch and dinner.
For the rest of the week, I'm just gonna montage what I've eaten and what I've learned, and I'll share macros for each day as well. But on day 4, I ate oatmeal again. We do eat other things for breakfast, but oatmeal and chia pudding are usually what we have during the week just because they're super quick. On the weekends, we might do eggs with toast and berries or protein pancakes, but this is something that I think is actually really important to note. If you find yourself at this video looking into how you might improve your own dietary patterns, if you're a busy person or you don't like cooking every single meal every single day, like I don't, to eat healthy, you really have to find a way to bulk cook your meals and be okay with leftovers. Be okay with eating the same thing a lot. Repetition is huge in the world of health, so I think that's something to consider. For lunch, I did eat this kind of leftover chicken and black beans on a salad that I kind of made from scraps in the fridge. And then for dinners, we had tacos with ground beef. On this day, my macros were finally pretty stellar. My calories were almost at 2,000. And that's because even after these tacos, I ended up having chips because my husband came home with the salt and vinegar. It was my favorite. 121 grams of protein, 128 grams of carbs, and 110 grams of fat. So the fat went way over because of the chips. I would prefer to get that 2,000 calories from higher quality food than chips, but I don't know. That's what I had. It was a nice treat, and it was a good day of eating. Day 5 was honestly a pretty busy day. We rushed off to work, and I didn't get any footage of my breakfast, but it was chia pudding, a dynamite roll for lunch, But for dinner, we just kind of picked up some hot and readies and went out to the mountains to enjoy a night of camping. We will usually do takeout on Fridays anyways, but for us this was just a really easy way to go camping for a night and relax and enjoy the day. So I only have footage of the pizza, but for eating 2 meals out on this day, I was expecting my macros to be worse than they are. I had just over 2,000 calories, only 60 grams of protein, 286 carbs, and 82 grams of fat. I know that this day wouldn't be overly healthy, but it's helpful to track and be reminded that it's really about what you do most of the time. Having my son's favorite meal on Friday while camping isn't a major problem for me in my life and my health journey right now, but for other people this might not be a great idea, so I just want to note that. Just do what's best for you, but I just want to authentically share that this is what I did. On Saturday morning while we were camping, I made an egg breakfast wrap. I had just put all the ingredients into a mason jar before we left so that we didn't have to bring a big cooler. We just had a lunch bag with some ice packs. It's perfect. And we were just camping for the one night. So we got home and we bulk cooked up some chicken. We made lunch and dinner at the same time so that we could leave the house and just have a fun rest of our Saturday. So we had this Santa Fe chicken salad again for lunch, and then the rest of the chicken got cut up, put in the Instant Pot with this protein pasta and some vegetables to make this dump and bake chicken lo mein. It's very inauthentic lo mein, I'm sure, but we like it and it's quick and easy. Macros came in at just over 1,200 calories, just over 100 grams of protein, 137 carbs, 43 grams of fat.
One thing I've really noticed over the years for both myself and for other women in practice as well is this belief that if we're not seeing weight loss happening, we need to eat less, which our bodies aren't just simple math equations like that. There's a lot more that goes into it, especially as we get older. Because if calories get too low and we're not eating enough to fuel our workout, our energy, our libido, our mood, all of these things start tanking and we're like, okay, why does health feel so hard? So we need to focus not just on eating less, but also on burning calories and putting on muscle to increase metabolism. It really shouldn't just be focusing so heavily on diet. So if you came to this video because I know it's so focused on diet, know that I have other videos as well where we go into other topics. I personally do come from a long history of under eating and just disordered eating in my youth. And I think a really important thing I've learned in my 30s is that just under eating doesn't work anymore. As I approach the end of the week, I do understand that good storytelling kind of has an end or a successful result, but when it comes to diet, like there's a lot that I learned from this week and a lot that I'm going to continue working to apply. It will be hard to show all in one video how that evolves over time for me, especially once winter comes and I start focusing away from salads and more on things like soups and stews and warming foods and curries. So maybe I'll make one of these videos again at that point, but this is really like a lifelong journey. And so I hope that that makes sense in continuing these videos, that they're not always going to come to this really like nice wrapped up with a bow on top conclusion, and that's not something that you should expect for your own health journey either. One last thing I really want to harp on before I sign off here is that if you watch this whole video and you are at all comparing yourself or your own journey or your own diet to anything that I'm eating here, I just want to say that my journey has not been perfect. It has been also a very long time in the making. Like, my passion for nutrition and diet really started and evolved from an eating disorder when I was 14 years old. I became obsessed with this stuff in a not very healthy way, but it became healthier the more I learned and the more I took a new approach to everything. So if you watch this and you feel like your diet or lifestyle is very far from what you saw here, know that this is many years in the making. And when I say that, I mean I took very small steps. Like, I focused on one thing for about a month, and then I'd focus on the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing, and it builds, you know? And I'm not always working on diet. Like, you'll see on this channel, I switch between my screen use, my exercise, my stress management, my sleep. All of those things get tackled, and it's all very slowly. And I think that's how success is really truly built, is by not overwhelming yourself with trying to overhaul everything in your lifestyle at once. If you do feel stuck or lost, I do work with patients in both Alberta and Ontario. I'm a naturopathic doctor, let's work together. Otherwise, work with someone in your area who's a naturopathic doctor that specializes in lifestyle management, and they can help get you on track. If you got something out of this video, let me know in some way so I know to keep making more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.